Hello everybody, Mr. Perry here, Mr. Hughes, our social worker Corom. We used to do a little piece called Corom's Corner every Wednesday. We're going to start that again today and just go over a few things that we think can help us have a better school year. First off, I just want to thank everybody for their help with the COVID challenge. We've done really well. We've had a couple of cases of students here at the school, but because of our masking up and our efforts, we have not had any contact spread. No one has contacted it here at school, so that's a really positive thing. So we appreciate you doing your mask, keeping your social distancing, doing the hygiene stuff, washing your hands, and then if you're not feeling well, please stay home. That really does help us in this process. So I just want to thank you for that. I know it's not easy, the mask is a pain, but it really does work. We're getting good data that says that by doing that, we're not spreading the COVID-19 here at school. So thank you for doing that. We just want to talk a little bit about some things going on in the world. It's a crazy time right now. I get discouraged every time I turn on the news. It's just it's kind of a mean place, and I mean, it's hard to control that. Any suggestions?
Well, and it's crazy because my wife, she gets news updates on her phone. I just kind of stay out of the whole media, social media. I just kind of live my life here where I'm at, and my wife keep telling me, you know, the world is so bad. I'm like, the world is so good. We're doing so well, but I just see what's happening locally, and I see a lot of good things, and I think that's a problem. Sometimes we look elsewhere, and there's these small pockets that there's, a lot of negativity.
Yeah, and I appreciate that too. I really have I don't watch the news. I've really had to back off on my social media stuff the last little bit. So I try to post some good things that are happening at school, but I don't spend a lot of time just surfing the social media stuff, Twitter and Instagram, and because sometimes we just get mean things happening there. In fact, we've had some cases here at school where students have started up some Instagram sites that just make me sad. I mean, that the whole purpose is to make fun of people and to belittle people, and that's not who we are about here. We want to do better than that. So we really want to focus on things that we can do better, and so we've kind of come up with some ideas. Those of you who've been here for a couple years, you know I'm passionate about the mental wellness of our students. I don't worry about test scores. I don't worry about a lot of things other than I worry about how well we're doing mentally. And this whole COVID-19 pandemic thing has made mental health hard. I mean, I've struggled, and I feel like I have a pretty solid mental health background, and it's hard. So some of the things that we really want to talk about as being positive. And so we do our positive in the present. Most of you have heard me talk about this before. Those of you who are new, you're sophomores. There's great power in positivity, and I've asked Corom. I think our plan is to kind of go through it each week and go through some of these things. So maybe next week we'll talk about some of the real benefits of being positive. But Mr. Hughes, if you'll just share a couple of things about positivity.
Yeah, positivity.
How it helps you.
Yeah, it's huge. And I think last year we did a show on just positivity and taking shots at basketball, right? And so they would have someone go, they give them good feedback, they would make more shots. And if they would speak, negative to that person, they would make less. And so it just shows that positivity does help. Just being positive. If you're positive, your life is going to be better, just because you have that outcome of good things.
And our research that we've kind of studied shows that you can train your brain to be positive. You just have to focus on the positive things around you. That's why we encourage you to write down 3 things that you're grateful for. Just taking the time to step back, and even on Monday, which is one of the hardest days of my career, I've been in this for 36 years, whenever we have a student pass away, it is brutal. And so when I sat down the next morning and said, what am I grateful for? And I could come up with a lot of things that helped me through that difficult day. So if you'll just take the time to write down 3 things you're grateful for, 1 positive experience from the last 24 hours, exercise, meditation. I've started meditating with my wife at night, and we'll do a whole session on that later. But all those things really do help you get that positive attitude. And then the last thing is do a conscientious act of kindness. And that's kind of what our next part is that we want to talk about, is just be kind. Our world around us, we don't have a lot of great role models of being kind, and we just want to really focus on looking out for others and helping them, helping everybody through their difficult times. And I think the one thing that you need to realize now, that we all need to realize, is that everyone's life is hard. I mean, it might look like everything is rosy from the outside, but I think you just have to assume that everybody's going through some hard things right now. And so in order to help through that, we just have to be kind. So any ideas on just, random acts of kindness, conscientious acts of kindness? What can we do?
Just going up to someone and saying hi. If you see people sitting at lunch and you talked about the day, just go up, you can sit with them, invite someone to eat with you. There's just a lot of different things. And sometimes people, it's easier for them to be more positive. I'm by nature not that big, that positive of a person, even though I might not show that on the outside, but on the inside, I really struggle to be positive. And so I have to do certain things. I know exercise is great. Getting out, exercising, just doing things to get me out of my element so I don't get so caught up in my head and think negative. And really, when you serve other people, when you do things for other people, you cannot not be positive because you feel good because you're helping that person put a smile on someone's face.
Yeah. One thing I'll share this. I Tuesday morning on announcements, I made a commitment that I was going to try and go around at lunch and talk to people who were alone. And so I went in the lunchroom both yesterday or Tuesday and today. I went in. We're filming this on Wednesday, so I went in and. Believe it or not, people didn't really want me to sit by them. I guess having the principal do it is not as cool as I thought it was going to be. But it was a good opportunity for me to reach out and talk to some people. I am by nature more of an introvert than an extrovert. I can sit by myself and do stuff all the time without worrying about it. The hard part is if you're an extrovert and you don't have the opportunity to do that. It was explained to me in a class that I popped in on the other. Introvert gains strength by being alone, and an extrovert gains strength by being around people. And if you're the opposite, an introvert, if I have to go into a place where a lot of people are, that can be draining to me. And an extrovert, if they're left alone, that can be draining to them. So Corom's idea is great. Just go talk to people. Reach out, help people through their difficult times. And it might not even be a difficult time. And Corom, this morning, we talked a little bit about, some people sometimes feel like it's a pity thing where you come and sit by out of pity or something. But that can't be the reason we do this. We do this because we care about each other. And we want to help each other, and that's got to be our goal. We want to support each other.
And also being that person, if someone comes up to you, if you're sitting alone, and they invite you to eat, you can't think it's a pity thing, right?
Right.
We got to accept people's kindness.
And that's hard. I don't accept charity very well. I'm one who thinks I should do it by myself, and it's something that we all can work on probably. It's not an easy thing. A lot of the stuff we're asking you to do is hard. We understand that. But we've said from the get-go we can do hard things, and we want to get better.
Well, and even adults struggle with this.
Yeah.
And so, you students. So honestly, you students are better than us adults, and so that I think it's an amazing thing. You can do those hard things.
So the last thing we want to talk about a little bit is this. It's easy to poke holes in everything. We want you to be part of the solution. Okay, and in order to be part of the solution, I think the first thing you have to do is, if I say be kind to somebody, my natural tendency is, well, Corom, I hope you're kind to somebody. Or Mrs. Netterhand, who's videoing for us, be nice. I hope you're nice to somebody. But really, if you want to be part of the solution instead of the problem, you have to look at yourself and say, you know what, I'm going to be kind. And we really can't change how other people behave, but we can always change how we respond. And so the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is look at yourself in the mirror and say, what can I do differently? We just have to accept that responsibility, and that's difficult, but I think it's something that we can do. And then the other thing I would say is that it seems like I'm hearing of some bullying and harassment kind of things going on because of beliefs. So, and our goal is not to talk about political things, and we'll probably do a role play in a later thing about how to interact with people with respect and dignity. But just remember that if you see somebody being harassed or bullied, please let an adult know so that we can help. And if you're being harassed or bullied, please come and talk to us so that we can help you. We want everyone to feel safe at school. And I know that our culture and climate is such right now that can be difficult for some people. There are lots of different philosophies, and we want to be empathetic to all of those. And diversity is what makes us strong. And so the last thing I want is for us all to be exactly the same. But I want us to all be working towards the same goal of helping each other. And I think we can do that if we just remember the importance of helping everybody else. I think Mr. Hughes and I both have on the same one of us socks today. That was by coincidence, but
Yeah.
we have our theme of one of us, and that came from several years ago, I think 4 years ago, when I heard the song on the radio, and the chorus is, everybody needs a place to call their home. Everybody needs someone to call their own. Even when you're lonely, no, you're not alone, you're one of us. And for a lot of people, school is their home. Their lives are difficult at home, and so they come to school, and sometimes we beat them up because they don't fit in like we think they should. We just need to make sure that we take it upon ourselves to look out for each other, and everybody needs some help. And so one of the things that I challenged our teachers to do this year is to develop a relationship. Our research shows that we have about 70% of our students who feel like they have an adult at school that they can trust no matter what the situation is. That sounds pretty good, other than that means I've got about 350 kids who don't have anybody at school that they can trust. So I challenged our teachers to reach out to those kids who might have a little reservation about helping or being open with teachers, and try to develop those relationships. I'm going to encourage you guys to do the same thing. If you don't feel like you have someone at school that you can talk to, find somebody. Reach out. Mr. Hughes is awesome. Please come and talk to me. Whatever we can do to help you, we want you to be successful. So, any final words, Mr. Hughes?
No, I think that's good.
So let me just say this. We have a wonderful school. I want to be better. I mean, that's why I'm still here. I've been doing this for 36 years. My wife keeps saying, "You sure you don't want to retire?" And I'm convinced that I have work to do. And so what we want to do is we want to help you be successful. And we can't do that alone. So we want you to help each other. We want you to come to us and let us help you. And we want to make sure that we're all working together. So with that, as we close, always, thank you for all you're doing. I appreciate your support. Let's keep working towards being the solution to the problems and make Salem Hills the best high school ever. And I will say that with a big rousing, Go Skyhawks!